Chapter 253. Faria returned to the Adair family mansion after sending Alex home that night. Lord Adair did not listen to Alex's instructions to rest in bed. Instead, he was sitting in the living room at this time as he spoke to Faria's cousin and uncle, who were reporting the entire family situation to Lord Adair at this time. As soon as he saw Faria arriving back at the Adair family mansion, Lord Adair waved his hand before he said, "Faria, I've been waiting for you to come home." "Grandpa," Faria replied in a respectful manner before she asked, "Why are you waiting for me?" At this time, Lord Adair replied, "You were the one who invited Mr. Anderson here today, weren't you? Can you give me a detailed account of how you met him?" "Okay, Grandpa." Faria hurriedly explained herself. "Mr. Anderson and I met by chance at pawn store. At that time, Mr. Anderson was with his father-in-law." "Father-in-law?" Lord Adair asked as he frowned immediately. "Mr. Anderson is already married?" "Yes," Faria nodded immediately. "What a pity. That's a real pity," Lord Adair replied as he shook his head and sighed. "This is really such a pity." At this time, Lucas hurriedly replied, "Grandpa, don't worry. I've already heard some news about Mr. Anderson, and it seems as though he is the son-in-law of a really incompetent and small family." "A small family?" Lord Adair felt even more puzzled at this time. Which small family has the ability to get such a good son-in-law? Reuben smiled before he replied, "The Richard family." "Grandpa, I bet you've never even heard of this name before." "Yes, I've never heard of this family." Lord Adair frowned before he said, "Since the Richard family is just a small family, then I guess that it wouldn't be that difficult. There is still hope for us." After that, Lord Adair looked at Faria before he said, "Faria, go on." Faria continued speaking. "At that time in pawn store, Mr. Anderson's father-in-law accidentally overturned one of our antique vases. After that, Mr. Anderson repaired the antique vase with some incredible craftsmanship, and he not only repaired the antique vase but also doubled the value of the antique piece. After that, I started paying more attention to Mr. Anderson." Immediately after, Faria started explaining the entire process of how she got to know Alex to her grandfather. When Faria explained that Alex was the one who called for the thunder and lightning that struck the metaphysics master, Gary Depp, to death at the banquet hosted by the White family, everyone sitting in the living room was stunned. "Gary Depp? Gary Depp?" Lord Adair murmured. "I heard of this name a long time ago. I heard that he has a very mysterious and incomparable ability. Is he dead now?" "Yes," Faria replied with a face full of admiration for Alex. "Mr. Depp was very arrogant and disrespectful towards Mr. Anderson and everyone else at the banquet at the White family mansion that day. In order to teach him a lesson, Mr. Anderson called for thunder and lightning, and within a few seconds, a bolt of lightning came out of thin air and struck Mr. Depp dead in an instant." "Oh my God! What kind of supernatural powers does he have?" Lord Adair asked in shock. The other members of the Adair family were also very frightened at this time. "He called for lightning to kill the famous metaphysics master? This was too unbelievable." After that, Faria continued her story. "After that, another feng shui master from Korea tried to deceive me out of my money. However, Mr. Anderson saw right through him, and he was the one who helped me to reverse my fortune by destroying the dragon encapsulation formation that I was trapped in my bedroom." Faria continued talking about how amazing Alex was, and after listening to Faria's story, Lord Adair was also impressed with Alex. He also admired and looked up to Alex because he was the one who saved his life today. After sitting in silence for a short while, Lord Adair sighed before he said, "The Richard family is really lucky to get such an amazing son-in-law. Mr. Anderson is not an ordinary man. He's really a god." At this time, Lucas could not help but say, "Grandpa, don't you think that it's an exaggeration to call him a god?" "You think I'm exaggerating?" Lord Adair replied in a cold manner, Do you really think that thunder and lightning will fall from the sky if you call for it? He could do it, so don't you think that he has some supernatural powers? People with supernatural powers like him deserve to be called a god. After that, Lord Adair looked at Faria with a serious expression on his face before he said, "Faria, Grandpa has a task for you."